The SPD-SX came out in 2011. Right now I'm making this in 2026, so that's 15 years ago. What's amazing is that the SPD-SX Pro has been out for a few years now, and yet you can still get the SPD-SX and it's still as relevant as it is now as it was then. So with that, this video is what I'm hoping is basically what I wanted when I first got mine. If you're a subscriber of the channel, which you can subscribe down below, then you will know that I've done a bunch of videos on a bunch of different products, and it can be a lot to search for. So this is one place where you have everything for the SPD-SX. So like I said, I've made loads of videos. I'm not going to deep dive into everything on this video. I will link all of the deeper dives of the videos as we go through and as I talk about certain features, but use this as your foundation of the Roland SPD-SX. Anyway, let's get into it. So there's two words that you need before anything else with the SPD-SX, and that's waves and kits. A wave is a single sound, that's your sample. That's the thing that when you hit the box, that's the sound. You import them to the SPD-SX and that's where they live forever until you remove them. A kit is then the collection of those, where you can then add as many or as little as you like. So a kit might be your set for one particular song, track on one pad with a couple of stabs on pads 2 and 3, counting on another, you build it, that's your thing. That's pretty much the whole concept. From here we just fill out the details. And one of those details is actually the order of operation of how you turn it on. Now this generally isn't that much of a big deal, but to make sure you don't annoy a bunch of sound engineers, what I would do is turn the master and phones knob all the way down first and then hit the power button. Give it a couple of seconds. The thing that after all of these years I've realized with the SPD-SX, it's not immediate, it takes a second, and that's really annoying because sometimes grub and stuff like that affects the ribbon on the inside of the power button, which means sometimes it might not work. And that's really annoying. That's a whole problem for another day. But generally, it takes a second to turn on. You'll see the loading screen and then turn the volume up. Why we want to do this is to avoid any pops as everything loads inside. I'll be honest, it hasn't happened often, but it has happened. One thing to note straight away when it comes to power management with the SPD-SX is that it by default turns off after 4 hours. Fine at home, like if you accidentally leave it on, but terrifying between soundcheck and showtime. You can switch this off in the settings menu, and I absolutely would. To change this, go to menu, down to setup, down to option, and then auto off, use the plus and minus buttons to make sure that is off. Now the last thing with power management is you'll notice there is no save button, and this is because the SPD-SX saves when you power it down. So whenever you've made any changes, make sure you hold the power button and let it power off. This will then save everything and you're good to go. This is especially important because if you're setting something up and someone yanks out the power or the power goes off, it won't be saved. So just make sure you know that. It's the same with the SPD-SX Pro. Switch it off, then it'll consolidate everything and save it, and then power it. So that's power and things like that. Let's get into the stuff, the nitty gritty, actually using the thing. So there are two ways to get audio onto the SPD-SX. So the first way is straight off of a USB stick. Now you can click up there if you want to see my full video on how to import audio with a USB stick, but rule of thumb with the SPD-SX, not the Pro, it's different on the Pro. So for the SPD-SX, you want all of your audio files to be .wav 16-bit 44.1. It will not accept anything else. It might accept AIFF files, I think is what they're called. Maybe MP3 as well. I don't know, but your best bet, .wav 16-bit 44.1. Nothing else. Once you put those onto your memory stick, put it into the back of the SPD-SX, and you can then go menu, utility, wave import. Tick the file that you want, hit enter, it'll import it. Way number 2 is through the Roland Wave Manager. Now this software is as old as the pad, 15 years old. I think they still update it, but it still works on modern, in my case, Macs and Windows, but it's not a pretty software. This is the one that I always use at home and generally on gigs as well when I have a laptop. It's the easiest one, drag and drop straight from the computer. It's great. If you want a little upgrade to that, I actually use the SPD-SX editor, which was made from someone not working at Roland. You do have to pay a one-time fee for it, but it's not a subscription, and it's significantly better than the Roland pre-made one because you can do all of the settings. In the Roland's Wave Manager, you can't change things like whether the pad loops, whether it's got dynamics, things like that. In the SPD-SX editor, you can. I'll put a link in the description down below. I'm not affiliated with it. I don't get anything from it. It's just something that I use and is appropriate for a video like this. And finally, if you want to look at the full video on how to import audio through the Wave Manager, check out the video up there. Right, let's presume your sounds are in. Let's make them usable, and like I said at the beginning of this video, we've got our waves, now let's make a kit. Now to choose your kit, you've got 99 available in the SPD-SX, so you can use the plus and minus buttons to choose whichever number. If you've got this from factory, you'll see that the first 20, I can't remember off the top of my head, are all factory kits and they've all got presets. A lot of people, what they do when they get this and they use it for a show is they remove all of that. But if you haven't used one before, or if you have and it's been a while, play around because the samples are quite fun. But with this, choose a kit that you want to adjust, and then to change all of the WAVs that you've now imported, you hit Menu, pad, and this is where you can hit individual pads and it'll change. If you want to scroll through each pad, you can also hit the arrow keys rather than hitting the pads. But let's be honest, hitting the pad is way much more fun. Way much more fun. You know what I mean? In these menus are exactly where you'll find things like dynamics, mute groups, how the sample's played, whether it loops, all of those good settings. So let's go through a few of them so you understand what they are. Starting with mute groups. So you assign 2 pads to a mute group, for example, then playing one will stop the other. Now, why is this important? Mostly for backing tracks. It's a great way that if you accidentally hit another pad or you want to use it for a different section, then it'll stop the other. So it means one is playing, you hit another one, those stop and this fires off, rather than them being this like multi-layered mess. Sub-waves. Now these are interesting because not only can you have one wave on one pad, you can also put another one on there. So you can actually have 2 waves or samples on one pad. Now something I haven't tried is putting backing track and click on one pad. Maybe I should try that. That feels like a good idea. But you can do stuff like maybe you have a snare sample and you want a clap sample at the same time. Or you have an 808 kick sound, but you want a bit more punch, so you put a kick sample on it. Things like that. You can start to stack them and it gets quite exciting. And the last one I'll talk about is trig type. And this decides what happens when you actually hit the pad. So shot fires the sample every single time you hit it. Alt alternates. So be on, off, on, off, on, off. Think of it like if you have a single sample, a sound, you want that to be shot. If you have a backing track, you want that to be alt. So when you hit the pad, it'll play the backing track, hit it one more time, it'll stop it. Whereas if you had a backing track on shot, you'll hit the backing track, hit it one more time, and it will then just layer it on top of each other. Sounds pretty gross. So speaking of which, let's dive into backing tracks a little bit more, because this is arguably one of the most popular ways to use an SPD-SX, or if you've got one, it's highly likely you'll run into the scenario where it turns out it's a really good backing track player. So the key for backing tracks is setting the mode for each pad. So set a backing track to phrase for something with a tempo, or loop if you want it to repeat. Shot for individual samples, like I just said, phrase for songs. This distinction makes it behave a bit more how you would expect it to for backing tracks. Now the exciting bit is we do this because you can also set the SPD-SX's tempo to that backing track, and it can work out what this tempo is. So to find this feature, go onto menu, go to pad, and then hit the quick button. Scroll all the way down and you'll find a little setting there called tempo match. Tell it the time signature, so it might be 4/4, whatever it is, how many bars the track is, and you can find this out that when you build the track on a laptop, scroll in your DAW to the bar number and find the bar number, and then from there it will use maths to calculate the tempo. What this then does is this then applies that tempo to the click internally on the SPD-SX, so the little flashing light that you've got on the front will actually be in time. The other half of this brings us onto outputs, and this is the bit that people quite often overlook or forget until it's really important and you're in soundcheck and things aren't working. So to go into the output settings, go to menu, go to kit, and then outputs at the bottom, and this is where you can assign the output for each pad. This is where you want to basically route the click to only your headphones and then the backing track only to the front of house, either using the master or the sub outputs. If you then go to menu, system, and then click, you can actually change the sound of the click if it's a quarter note, an eighth note, and the output. So you can adjust it to your liking using these settings. Let's really briefly touch on the click itself because the internal one can be quite useful. I personally import my own, but that's a whole other subject. So hitting the start stop button on the front of the SPD-SX starts and stops the click. The knob that says click, that adjusts the volume separately to everything else in your headphones. So that's really nice to be able to adjust. If you want to turn off the flashing of the little click indicator, you can go to menu, setup, LCD/LED, it's the top one, and then the second to last one, the tempo indicate, turn that to off if you don't want the flashing. For me, that's one of those settings where it's kind of a staple of the SPD-SX. I'm just so used to always seeing them flash that it's kind of like SPD-SX and flashing annoying click LED goes hand in hand. So let's talk about when things go wrong and backing up your SPD-SX because of it. So firstly, once you've set everything up, once your SPD is where you want it to be, back it up. Buy a memory stick off of Amazon or whatever you like to buy things from, put it in the back, go to menu, utility, save USB memory, and you can either do individual kits or the whole thing. I would do both because then you always have a constant backup, and this is also really handy if you ever rent an SPD-SX. You can just plug in your memory stick, load it, and it's exactly the same. So every time I build something, I will always save that kit, or every few years, I should probably do it sooner, I back up the whole thing, and I have in the boxes that you can see just in the background, I have an SPD-SX one, an SPD-SX Pro, and pretty much anything that I can back up, I've always got a backup. On the reverse of that, if something's gone really wrong, let's talk about resetting the SPD-SX. So a little handy thing that not many people know, that if you go to Menu, System, and then hit the Quick button, you've got the option for System Init, Initialize. This is so much better than just basically nuking everything like a factory reset, because this resets all of the settings but doesn't get rid of all of your samples. If you do then need a full factory reset, I have made a video just up there on how to factory reset the SPD-SX, but this will wipe everything, including your samples, but it is good for if you're selling it, because it puts back on the demo kits, the factory kits. So like I said, back it up. The best advice I can give for any hybrid electronic drummer using samples, just drummers in general. So the big question, should you buy one as of this video, which is 2026, or in the future when you're watching this? Especially because the Pro exists. Now, my claim to fame is that I was a very lucky boy, and when Roland were releasing the Pro, I was invited to Roland HQ and I got to see it about a month early, 2 months early, and that was the hardest NDA, which is now expired, that I ever had to sign, because I really wanted to see it. I didn't know what it was at the time, but then once they showed it to me, I couldn't talk about it until they released it, and they've released it, and that's why I can talk about it. But an important thing to note, and I remember talking to the Roland team about this at the time, is that the SPD-SX Pro is never meant to replace the SPD-SX. They go in the level, so you've got the individual WAV pads, like the WAV 1 pad and all that sort of stuff. Then you've got the SPD-SX, and then you've got the SPD-SX Pro. So they're all just dependent on what you need it for. In all honesty, I still use the SX. There's only a handful of times that I would have loved the Pro, but in gigging, function, wedding drummer world that I use it for, I've never really needed those features. So still to this day, I don't actually own one. All the ones that you see in the videos that I've made, I've rented them. So unfortunately, there isn't a straight answer. If you're getting new into sampling and you're kind of not sure what you're doing, but you do know you want to use the function of it, get the SX. If you have a set goal of, I need these functions, I need these things, get the Pro. We are now a few years down the line, so both the SPD-SX and the SPD-SX Pro are on the secondhand market for significantly cheaper than buying them new. That being said, always support your local drum shop if you do buy new, because that's just the best thing in the whole wide world to do. Anyway, I hope this video helped. That's all of the initial settings that will get you in a really good place to use the SPD-SX, with all the videos linked throughout. There's a few more videos I haven't touched upon on the SX, but I'll link the full SPD-SX playlist here on YouTube if you want it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.